Jazzy, welcome back to me talking about movies. Today we're going to be talking about Sylvie's Love.
Tell me about this new boy at the store.
Hey, what's your favorite song on this?
You don't know what love is.
I am not answering that. Is he cute?
I didn't really notice that much.
Sylvie's Love is a romantic drama film starring Tessa Thompson and Nnamdi Asomugha. The movie set in the late 1950s and early 1960s, and it follows a young woman named Sylvie who falls in love with an aspiring saxophonist named Robert. They fall in love while working at her father's record store. The movie follows them as they fall in love and follow their respective dreams in entertainment. While the movie is set in the 1960s and follows two black leads, their race is somewhat incidental to their story. So while it's aware of the time it's set in and the character's race, it doesn't make it the entire focus of the story. Now, of course, it's not wrong to make a movie that focuses on characters' race and their struggles, especially in a certain time period. However, this movie is about two people who fall in love who just happen to be black. And it's a fine line to tread since you don't want to whitewash history, but it's also good to show two people of that race existing in this period of time. And I would say that Eugene, Ashe, who directed and wrote the film, accomplished that. The most important element of any romantic movie is chemistry between the two leads, because you don't want to just watch two pieces of meat staring at each other and reciting lines and with no emotional connection. Luckily, this movie delivers on that chemistry. Thompson and Asomugha are believable as a young couple falling in love. So there is kind of a conflict already in the way the two characters fall in love, since Sylvie is actually already engaged to another man who happens to be overseas. However, she can't help but catch feelings for Robert the more time they spend together.
The only reason I was carrying on with her in the first place is because of you. Telling me this was all a big mistake. That doesn't make me feel very special either. In fact, it made me feel pretty ordinary.
Well, you're not ordinary to me. In fact, I think you're one of the most extraordinary people I've ever met.
No, we never got to finish our dance last night.
Now, when you have a conflict like that, it's very hard to make an audience root for a couple when they're technically having an affair. However, I think this movie pulls it off. While I did wish Sylvie had broken up with her fiancé before getting involved with Robert, this movie kind of has an excuse since it is set in a time where it was a lot harder to be in contact with someone. Like, you couldn't just text someone and say, hey, we're over, bye. This is not to say that I approve or endorse cheating in real life, but in a movie it does make for a juicier story, because for some reason a lot of times we can't just watch a couple fall in love and have nothing happen to them. We always need some type of conflict or a reason why the two leads can't really be together happily ever after, at least at first. We have to make them earn that happy ending. Even though the two make some questionable choices throughout their relationship, I still couldn't help but root for them. I still wanted to see them end up together. Another thing I appreciate about the film is that both characters have their own respective goals. The focus isn't just about them falling in love. Robert wants to be a professional, well-known saxophone player, and Sylvie wants to work in television. We see the ups and downs of Robert's career as he's playing with his jazz group and getting more successful to the point where they actually have an opportunity to travel to Paris. At one point, Sylvie gets a job as a television producer's assistant and works her way up to become a television producer herself. One important scene is when Sylvie goes to an interview to become a TV producer's assistant, and the TV producer is a black woman. When the producer asks her why she wants that position, Sylvie says it's because she didn't even know that a black woman could even be a television producer up until that moment.
Thank you very much. Are you quite finished? I am the producer of the Lucy Wilbur Cooking Show, so I can assure you I have no desire to chase you around my office all night. So, Why don't you sit back down and tell me, why should I hire someone with no experience to be my assistant? Because until about 5 seconds ago, I didn't know that a Negro woman television producer even existed. And all my life, that is all I've ever wanted to be.
It's very small, but it just goes to show how much representation matters. So it's a little nitpicky, but I do wish the movie kind of did a little bit more to show why Sylvie wants to work in TV and also why she would be good at it. The only indication we see at first that Sylvie has an interest in TV is towards the beginning when we see her in her father's record shop and she's watching I Love Lucy. Also, there's a scene where Sylvie's father is talking to Robert and he mentions that Sylvie is interested in working in television, and he thinks it's ridiculous because he doesn't think a black woman could ever be a TV producer. Now, after that moment, we really don't see any other scene of her expressing to Robert herself that she wants to work in TV or any knowledge about TV until later in when she goes and applies for a position as a TV producer's assistant. At one point, Robert does say that she knows more about TV than any other person that he knows. However, we didn't really get to see a scene where she showcases that. I mean, she talks about music and she seems to be very knowledgeable about music, but we never see her maybe reference TV shows or talk to him about TV shows.
So Daddy tells me you're a saxophone player.
Yep. I'm actually in town with my band from Detroit for the summer. We're playing over at the Blue Morocco.
Are you any good?
Depends on what you like. It's not Bill Haley in the comics.
Well, I like all sorts of music. You have to, working in a record store and all, you know. So you can suggest music to the customers. For instance, you got Monk's Brilliant Corners, and you're a saxophone player, so I'm guessing you like Sonny Rollins. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, then I would recommend his latest album, Way Out West, where he leads a trio with him on sax and a bassist and a drummer. Unless, of course, you already have it.
I don't.
However, later on when she does eventually become a TV producer, I do like that it shows her enjoying her job, and I do also like it showing that she's actually good at it. So, like I said, very nitpicky, but I just wanted to point that out. Now, another thing I like about this movie, especially since it's set in a period of time that had some really great fashion, is of course the costumes in this movie. I'm a sucker for vintage fashion, especially 1950s and 60s. Everyone's wardrobe is stunning, but Tessa Thompson, of course, is a standout. At one point, she's wearing this beautiful blue dress, and she's like, the color just pops on her, and the silhouette just showcases her curves, and she looks awesome. And I even like some of the casual wear that she wears towards the beginning when we see her and Robert first falling in love. And she has a really cute haircut. It's like a very, very chic pixie cut. And at one point she wears a lot of t-shirts with high-waisted capri pants and a little bandana at the neck. Like, honestly, that's the kind of look that even people would wear today. I would personally rock it if I could. Maybe not the pixie cut, though. No. I would recommend this movie to anyone who likes to see a cute, sweet love story, and if you also like jazz, that's also a plus. Let me know what you think of this movie. It's available right now on Amazon Prime, so if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it for free. If there are any other movies that you would like me to talk about, let me know. Leave a comment down below. That's all I have to say. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.